The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. We'll start in just a few minutes. Well, when I say a few, I think it's about time to let's get started. So thank you for joining us. Welcome to Arcoro's very first HR Hour training. My name is Samantha Stevenson, and I have recently joined Arcoro as a training program manager. I've worked with the team as a customer for over 3 years, and I love the product mission so much. I joined the team, and I'm excited to be here. So in today's training, we will be discussing recruiting best practices. I have Michelle and Jen with us today. Michelle is the Vice President of Customer and Partner Success, and Jen is a Customer and Partner Experience Manager. We're also very excited to answer and learn from your questions today, so please type those into the chat, and we will have time for them at the end of the presentation. Michelle and Jen, I will pass it over to you.
Thank you, Samantha. I'm very excited to be here. As Sam said, I am Michelle Stedman. I'm the VP of Customer and Partner Experience. I have been with the company for almost 10 years. And worked in a bunch of different roles, but my true passion is working with our customers and helping them with getting the best of the Arcoro software and being the most successful with it that they can be. My previous experience before Arcoro was within recruiting, and so it's my favorite thing to talk about, so I'm excited to talk with you. And I brought in my partner in crime over here, Jennifer Johnson.
Hello, everyone. As Michelle shared, I am Jennifer Johnson. I have been with Arcoro for about 8.5 years now. In that time, I have held a few roles, including support, implementation, partner enablement. So I do have many years of experience, configuring and using our ATS module. So our hope for you today is that you leave this webinar with some new tips and tricks to getting the most value out of your module.
Perfect. Thanks, Jen. So as Jen said, our agenda is tips and tricks for posting jobs, how to get the most power of your applicant tracking software, optimizing your job postings with job boards, best practices for making your application mobile friendly, and then we'll answer any questions that you have at the end. As Samantha said, just type those right in to the chat, and we will take some time. We'll leave some time at the end so Jen and I can answer anything that you have. So please do that. So to get started, job posting tips for getting the most candidates. So think about, you're going to post your job. Maybe you're a new customer. It's one of the first jobs you're going to post within the ETS. There's a few things that I always recommend that our customers think about. One of them that surprises people is to keep your job titles generic. It can be really fun to create really unique job titles internally, like client success extraordinaire or, a building superhero or something like that. The problem with doing that for your job postings is that the job seekers out there are not going to search for those things. So they are going to be searching for, customer service or developer. So make sure that you have your jobs posted like that, just really, really generic that can be found throughout. And then the other thing is like adding on additional things to your job posting. So, if you're posting in a lot of different places, putting a location in, I see customers all the time. They want, they're struggling so much with finding people. So they want to put in like a hiring bonus. The problem with putting that in the job title is that it can get taken down by certain job boards. And so they really, really want to keep that stuff as clean as possible. And special characters, anything additional is going to hurt you. So just really think about what the candidate is going to search and use that to your advantage. And then the second piece is, think like a marketing person. We were just talking to the head of our marketing team, and she's always got really great ideas for, you know, how we can market ourselves best from a recruiting standpoint. So you know, when from an HR perspective, you have your HR job description, which goes through, you know, what exactly that person is going to be doing, how, you know, what are the qualities that you need, what are the, you know, all of the different things. And it's very succinct, and it has everything there. Well, with a job posting, it's more of a marketing slide that you're wanting to do. You're wanting to talk about how great your company is, what your culture is, what the career development for that position might be. So you want to get creative in that. You can always have them sign off on an official job description when they go to take the job or when you're interviewing with them. So make sure that you know, put your best foot out there when you're getting your job postings out there. And then again, back to the keywords that candidates would search. Make sure that you're putting that stuff within the actual job posting. So, you know, if you're looking for a developer, you make sure that the languages are out there, like Python or anything that you would, you know, SQL, anything that you would want to make sure that a job seeker could find. Project manager, it might be like, make sure they have a PMP certification. Put those types of things directly into the job posting, because that will help from a search optimization standpoint with the job boards. And then another thing to keep in mind is your the reviews that you have. So especially with Indeed and Glassdoor, they have a posting, or when your job is posted, it will have the name of your company, and then it'll actually have a star ranking of what people think about your company. So same thing if you Google something, you know, you always see, you know, this place has 3 stars. Well, your company actually gets those reviews too. If this is something you're not aware of today, definitely recommend that you go out and you look at what your ratings are as an employer for Indeed and Glassdoor. A few pointers I have with this is, own it. Like, go out and make sure that you own that site and that you are very aware of what's going on and what people are posting about it. Don't ignore negative reviews. I mean, we all have a situation where, you know, maybe there was a bad, you know, an employee that did not leave on the best of terms, and then they go and they write something negative on that. Most job seekers know that those things happen, and not everything is a good fit. So the best thing you can do is just go and make sure that you respond and say, you know, thank you for your feedback, those types of things. And then listen and do something with that feedback. If you're getting consistent feedback that, you know, maybe your customer service isn't great or something like that, make sure that you're taking that seriously, because that can help improve your culture. I thought it was kind of a shocking statistic from Glassdoor that only 12% of companies interact with the site from an employer standpoint. So make sure that, again, that you go out and you own that. And then express appreciation for employees taking the time to write the review. Don't get defensive and extend a peace offering like an invitation to discuss any issues that may come up on Glassdoor and Indeed. You never know, it might turn around, you know, that employee might turn around and write something positive in response to that. Jen, I'm going to pass it to you to talk about the job boards.
All right, optimization, right? Indeed, play by the rules. Indeed is the #2 source for candidates, only behind your referral networks. So with that being said, we really want to be sure that we are following Indeed's best practices. So let's discuss what a few of those are. As you see here, I think one of our most common questions is around primary location versus additional locations. When posting a job is one of the most often, right? So when posting our job, it is best to use one location and not spam every suburb or zip code surrounding. So for example, let's say I currently right now live in Fort Myers, Florida. And if I were recruiting for a career opportunity within my area, I would simply post my job in Fort Myers as the primary location. Many customers will find the need or assume they're doing themselves a favor by posting in all of the suburbs around the Fort Myers space, right? And one thing that those don't take into consideration is that when I'm a job seeker and I go to Indeed and I'm searching for these career opportunities, that by default, it presents me with all jobs in that location, as well as any that match my search within a 25-mile radius of my primary city. So in this example, when I search for career opportunities in Fort Myers, I will also be presented with career opportunities in North Fort Myers Beach, Cape Coral, Bonita Springs, since those are all locations within that 25-mile radius. Unfortunately, if you start posting an individual job with each of those locations as the primary source, Indeed may see that as spamming, if you will, and you might find that they then knock down those career opportunities. So best practice is to really just stick with the one primary. If you are recruiting for a remote position, it is okay to post those opportunities in multiple primary states. So Indeed's definition of a fully remote employee are a job that can be performed completely from home and doesn't require regular commutes to an office. When this is the case, your job ad should include one of the following phrases. This is a remote position. Employees will be working remotely, or remote work is allowed. So in that situation, if I'm recruiting and it truly is a fully remote opportunity, I will make sure that one of those three phrases is present in my job ad, and I would then go ahead and post that opportunity within several major cities around the US, and that would be acceptable. Next, we see no images or videos. So while the Arcoro software will allow an image or a video to be embedded within your job ad, there's a good chance that Indeed will strip that image and or video out of your opportunity, leaving the additional formatting of the job details not appearing as you would expect them to, or they might even remove that career opportunity altogether. Now, I don't want to get anybody, kind of fired up here. This does not have anything to do with the logo that we have added into your administration account information area that appears on your job ads and within your email templates. That is completely separate. The no images, no videos is only referencing them being added or embedded into the job ad itself. Next, we have a fairly new item with Indeed. So Indeed has started inputting salary data where necessary, because some states are now requiring that pay information be displayed. So moving forward, if a customer doesn't include the salary data within their job description on a go-forward basis, Indeed might just input a salary estimate in there on your behalf. So for additional information on this feature, you can actually seek out Indeed's Employer Help Center. And we also have created some additional supporting documentation within our own Arcoro Support Central, where you can locate this information under Things to Know about free job distribution boards. When needing to sponsor a job with Indeed, you will also want to first reach out to your Indeed representative and determine what your company's unique identifier is going to be moving forward. You will, you will determine this unique identifier with that individual. And then once that has been decided upon, you will simply add that information into the job description within your job templates. And that will then allow Indeed to easily identify your career opportunities for additional sponsorship should you need it. Here we have also reposting too frequently. I have one suggestion for you all. Simply navigate to administration, account information within your ATS, and enable auto refresh if you have not already done so. This feature is going to resubmit your job ad to our distribution network as if it were a new opportunity every 28 days with no additional intervention from you. This is beneficial because if a customer is caught reposting the same job in the same location multiple times within a week or a month even, you really run a risk of having that career opportunity removed from the site altogether, as they do consider that spamming. Next slide.
Wow, thank you, Jen. That was a lot of really great information on Indeed. I didn't know about the new pay transparency and how they're just putting in salaries there. So that's really good to know. I was wondering, we get customers all the time that are asking where that salary is coming from that Indeed is putting in. So that makes a lot of sense of why they're doing that now. So thanks for taking the time to explain that to us.
Yep, that's something I believe they rolled out just last month. So something we're going to be seeing more of for sure.
Interesting. Great. So for getting the most power out of your ATS, so just a few tips and tricks here. So first, remember that the ATS software is applicant tracking software. It is not a recruiter. You as an HR department or manager need to always be recruiting and looking for the best people. While the ATS has some great, great features such as job distribution and getting your jobs, out to all of those top job boards, it's important, especially in the market that we're in today, where it is really a job seekers market, that you are out there, going and sourcing on, LinkedIn and social media and doing the things that you've always done to recruit, getting referrals from your employees. The ATS is really meant to make sure that you stay safe from a compliance standpoint in your recruiting, and then also, make things easier for you within your recruitment process for things like reporting, referral networks, offer letters, job feeds, all of those things. So make sure you're taking advantage of all the features that you have within the ATS. A lot of times, when I'm talking with our smaller customers, I find that they're not using all of the different things that they could be taking advantage of. And we'll jump in. Actually, Jen is going to go into some further information on offer letters, and I'll talk more about referral networks coming up. But there's a lot of things that you can do to help yourself within the ATS, along with, keeping your data and your candidates organized. We'll talk about using labels effectively. I love the label functionality. I always tell people that I always think about it because I'm old, the old manila, the manila folders that you used to put your candidates in your filing cabinet. Labels are really those folders so that you can put people into those. So Jen will talk about that in just a second. And as Jen just said, keep your jobs refreshed. It's so easy. Just turn on the auto refresh feature, and that will, keep those jobs updated every 30 days. So you don't have to remember to do that, and it keeps you fresh out on the market, and you can get the most applicant flow there. And so with that, Jen, I'm going to hand it back over to you to talk about the labels.
All right, which is kind of hysterical because my first line here, I've always really thought about labels as folders in a sense, and that is so true. So if we think about the candidate, when they've applied to our job, right, the first label assigned to that candidate is going to be the label that was assigned to the job in which they've applied. And in so many cases, a customer will let it just stop there, and you really should not. I encourage you to create internal labels as well as external labels. An excellent example of an internal candidate label is something like a top candidate or a future interest. ask yourself how many times you've gone through the recruitment process, you've identified 2 or 3 candidates that would be a great fit. However, I've only got the budget to hire one at this time. You know, we all know that things change very quickly. Maybe it's not a right fit, doesn't work out. So we really don't want to lose that quick access to those other 2 individuals. So by applying an internal label indicating top candidate, future interest, something along those lines, I can navigate and re-engage with those individuals so quickly. Another great use case for an internal label is something to the effect of do not hire, right? Ineligible for rehire. So many of our customers in the construction space, right, do a lot of rehires, have a lot of turnover. If you can have that individual flagged so that when you log in, you immediately see, oh, he's under this label, or oh, he's in this folder, then think of the time saving that you have there so that you can move right on to the next. So I always encourage everybody, get creative with your labels. Look at things that are specific certifications that you're looking for, specific licensing. You know, we've talked about remote positions and locations and keeping them out of your job title when you're advertising and so forth. However, if location is important to you and that really matters, then create a label for that and build out the different locations. So when your recruiters are going into your candidate pool, they have a lot of things at their fingertips, right? The ability to filter through those folders very quickly. And, you know, if I'm looking for an accounting individual and I'm looking for the top candidates, I can apply both of those labels into my search within the candidate pool and really help me drive those top candidates to the list so that I can re-engage or potentially invite them to apply to a new position that I have available, something along those lines. Keep in mind, get creative, add the labels. If they don't work out or you don't see, you know, this 1 or 2 aren't being used, you can simply just click on that little trash can that you see available there to the right and deactivate them, right? You always have the ability to retrieve them once they've been deactivated. So no harm, right? Keep that area clean and useful for you and your workflow. All right, now on to offer letters. There are so many reasons to be using this feature if you're not already. The level of professionalism and consistent new hire experience across the board that this offers you is really pretty fabulous. You can create as many templates as you need. So you could ultimately have an offer letter template for every type of opportunity that you hire for. Most often, you know, I'll typically see anywhere from 2 to 5, if you will. Maybe it's something along the lines of union versus non-union, or I might have my field folks get this benefit package, my office folks get this different package, and then maybe my executive level, right, might get something else. So just having that standard template for the 3 of those opportunities is a huge time saver. We've also got additional mail merge technology available when you're creating those standard templates. So this gives you the opportunity to just fill in the blanks when you're actually customizing it specifically for that candidate. We have the ability to capture an e-signature. So you can ask that they provide a digital wet signature where they're using, you know, their fingertip maybe on a mobile device or a stylus, or you can simply just ask that they type in their signature as well. We can add approval chains, can be set up to ensure that the appropriate individuals are aware and have approved this offer, but before it even gets sent out to your candidates. You can determine how many levels of approval are needed. The offer letter will follow the candidate into the onboarding module as well, if you have that available. And it can also be accessed from your electronic filing cabinet. So a lot of great functionality there. And I really encourage you all to go check that out if that's a feature that you're not already leveraging today.
That's fantastic, Jen. Yeah, one of the things I was excited about when this came out years ago was the whole being able to sign right from your phone and see those. So it's a great functionality.
Yes, it is.
So referral networks, like I said earlier, referral networks are such an important piece of the software, and just referrals, are your number one source typically that you're getting the best applicants from, and applicants tend to stay longer. Candidates do when they join the organization if they're from a referral. So networking is free and it's really important. And we do have a great referral network capability within the software. That's very easy to set up. It's in the administration side, and then you would just, and create your new referral networks. You can put in email addresses of people that you would like to be notified about any new job postings you have. And then when you post a job, you just select the different referral networks that you want to send those specific jobs out to. There's lots of different things, unique things that I've seen many of our customers do for referral networks, anything from military groups and faith-based organizations, diversity groups, tech schools, and then definitely your employees. Make sure your employees know when you have a new job posting, because they have their own network, and you want them to be out there sharing your jobs as well and talking about why it's so great to work for your company. So it's really important to communicate that effectively, and doing things. You don't have to even offer a referral bonus, but it also can help you bring in more, and that can be as little as $100, or for your tough to find positions, especially in this climate from a candidate standpoint. Offer them some a one-time referral, $1,000 or whatever it may be, can help you bring in more candidates there. So, and you can actually offer that to your referral networks as well. Some of them may not want to take that, but some, it might give them incentive to give you, instead of paying maybe for an agency or a headhunter, look to incentivize the different groups that you're working with. Also, if you're a federal contractor, which many of our customers are, it is really important that you're reaching out to local organizations, again, military veteran groups, diversity, individuals with disabilities. You have to get your jobs out to those local groups, and so this is a great way to fulfill that. And so if you ever have an auditor walk into your company, you can easily show that you are consistently sharing your jobs to those different groups. So it is a really great feature within the software to make sure that you're taking advantage of. And then with your company career page, again, I really can't say more about your company career page. The job seeker today is really they're moving from going to like an Indeed or Glassdoor or Career Builder to, they'll find your job out there, and then they're going to go directly to your company website and check out what your website looks like, what you have to offer. That is the job seeker behavior today, and that's why we see a lot of applies from your company career page. Again, a report that you can run easily is to see where you're getting the most applies from. So make sure you're running that pretty frequently, so you can make sure you're investing your time and money in the right places. But your company career page is probably going to be one of the highest ones. We offer a widget, the job feed widget, that can be put on your career page, that will feed all of your jobs And so it's always up to date. There's no, going and talking to a webmaster or somebody that has to update those jobs for you on your website. It's a very easy widget to put on, so it can be there, but then build around that. I've seen some really cool things where companies have interviewed employees and put videos up on their website for that employee interview, just talking about why they love working for your company. You're really trying to show why a job seeker would want to come work for you instead of maybe your competitor down the street. Also, if there's a lot of benefits that you offer, whether it be, great health insurance or vision, life insurance, those type of things, or those, not as typical benefits. I know here at Arcoro, we offer, pet insurance and, do a lot of different fun things. Make sure you're showing that, because there's a lot of value in that, especially if maybe the job is not, really high paying job, or you are competing against really high salaries. I can't believe how high the salaries have gotten out there for certain positions when we're recruiting. So make sure that you are highlighting those. And then also make sure that they can join your talent community and you can label them. So that way, maybe you don't have a position today, that you get that job seeker in. And so that way you can tell them other jobs that are being posted in the future. Make sure your links to social media are included, because you want to join the social media, make sure that, everybody is following and looking on social media as well. And I'll talk about that here more in a minute. But like I said before, 43% of employees from referrals and company career pages stay longer than 3 years. That is a great statistic and something you should really think about. And like I said, with social media, 95% of people are more likely to respond to an email, and they're more likely to share information with you if they are following you on social media. And when I talk about social media, I'm talking about LinkedIn, Facebook. Those are the two biggest ones we typically see, but there's also, Instagram, Twitter. I've even seen some companies taking advantage of Snapchat and some of the newer ones that have come out recently. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with social media. And again, the ATS has an easy way to share your jobs out to social media, but you can be posting different things there as well that can help with your recruitment efforts. And one of the important things about social media is that you gain a following. If you are doing all this work and posting all your jobs and you're putting up employee interviews and you're talking about how great your company is and you don't have any followers, that's not going to help. So you need to build your following. So a great way to do that is adding social media buttons. You can add those to your email signatures. Like I have mine to follow me on LinkedIn. You can put them on your website, your career page, business cards, the e-business cards, and within your newsletter. Make sure your employees are always following it. And then there's a couple of websites there that that I'm familiar with that you can create those social media buttons. And it can get pretty cool because you can design them so they match your company branding and colors and things like that. So it doesn't have to be, really loud and obnoxious. It can really just fit right in, and then that can help you build that social media presence, because that's where people are spending their time. When they're on their lunch break, when they're on, at home, they're on social media. And so you want to be sharing your jobs out to the social media platforms that you have. And then with mobile recruiting, did we miss one, Jen? I thought there was one more mobile one in there, but maybe I missed it.
Sure did. That was talking about Indeed. Don't steal my thunder.
I know. Well, you talk about it first, and I'll go through the recruiting checklist, and you can talk about all the mobile things. We'll just start it with that on this.
You got it. So the next thing we're wanting to share here really is best practice for making your application mobile friendly. Number one, the first thing I can't emphasize enough is keep it simple. If I can make one suggestion to all of our customers out there today, it would honestly be to use our Arcoro default application going forward when posting all of your career opportunities. Many companies are in the habit of asking for just way too much information up front in the initial application, and this ultimately will negatively impact the number of candidates who complete your employment application. Our default application requires the applicant provide their contact information. We ask for the last 3 years of employers or the last 7 years of employment history. We capture the highest level of education, and references are optional. So really, we're capturing the imperative information needed up front. Keeping things in additional questions like maybe, what shift are you available to work? And then providing them with a drop down to pick which shift. I personally don't think that's something that belongs on the employment application today. I think those things are best suited in the advertisement or the job description themselves, what shift specifically you're recruiting for within that job description. If you need additional data to accommodate a compliance need or something specific, create a secondary application that asks for all those additional details, and only send that second application to those you truly have interest in moving forward with. A candidate is totally happy to accommodate the request once you've reached out and asked them to, right? It gives them the impression, well, hey, I've already applied once. If they're asking me to complete the second step, they must really be interested in moving forward with me. So in many cases, they're going to do just that. Majority of the candidates are applying via a mobile device these days. So the long and complicated applications, we often just see a lot of candidates dropping off from the apply process specifically for that reason. They want to be able to read your job description and apply to that career opportunity in about 3 minutes. So if you're looking at that report that Michelle was just referencing earlier on your source analytics, right? Where do I need to spend more time recruiting in spending my efforts and my time? If you see 100 people have viewed your ad and you've got maybe only 10 have applied, that's a good indicator that you may want to go review your application and give that some consideration. Within the ATS now, we do offer the Indeed apply process. That can be enabled under administration, account information, enable Indeed apply. I highly recommend this feature be enabled for all in combination with that Arcoro default app. This will allow candidates to apply via Indeed with one step. So if you choose to move forward with the custom application and leave all those extra fields and all the additional information that you might have in there today, there's a chance that it's not going to meet those Indeed easy apply compatibility requirements, which ultimately is fine. It's just going to result in your candidate having a 2-step apply process to be completed before the candidate's data is available in the ATS for you to review. So that second step in some cases may also make a negative impact on the number of candidates you have to review for that particular career opportunity. Now, if you're leveraging our DOT application, a lot of you have probably seen that out there. The DOT application is much more complicated and obviously will not meet the Indeed one-step apply requirements. However, DOT drivers know that in most cases you're going to maybe need to pull that MVR first, right? So they're more willing to do it for that type of an opportunity. However, your day-to-day stuff, when you don't have those additional needs, I think it's really important to just keep it simple, go with the default application. And one thing I'll actually task you all to do, if you haven't already, apply to your current career opportunities with the application you have in place today from your own mobile device, and then ask yourself if you could be doing it a little bit better.
That's a great tip, Jen. I was talking to a customer last week, and they had turned on the easy apply functionality, and they actually said that they had double the amount of applicants that they had had previously for the same jobs because they had that turned on. I think Indeed actually gives preference to people to companies that use that, so they get a higher ranking too.
I believe that is true, and that doesn't shock me a bit. That easy apply, it really does make a difference.
Awesome. Yeah, and mobile, I mean, that's everything now, right? And I don't, everybody is applying for jobs on their mobile phone because, again, that's where they are. That's where they're seeing your job, your job postings. They're looking at, looking for jobs on their lunch break or after work. And so they want to be able to easily apply. So just like Jen said, I can't even tell you how many people that I have seen go and actually try their application on their phone, and they were so surprised at what that process is, and they quickly changed it. It just is the way that the world is moving, and we need to keep it easy, but we can always get information later on in the process.
Absolutely.
The other thing with that is your career page. We talked about that earlier. Make sure that that's optimized for mobile use too, so they can see things easily there, and that everything looks correct when you're doing it. Because if it looks really, they can't find the job postings, they can't see, what you're writing out there. You're losing a good bit of people that are probably out visiting your career page or your website, and then the career page from there.
Absolutely. And having your career page button, I would say, front and center on your home page when you have to go through multiple clicks to find those listings, right? I think there's some fallout there too. Oh
yeah, absolutely. They need to be able to see that right away. And if you can't find it, if somebody can't find it in a minute, they're not going to keep looking. So definitely good call out there. And then make sure that you understand, all of the different impacts that recruiting has on you from a mobile standpoint. So all of these things are really important to keep in mind. Make sure that they can sign off on, your terms and conditions, anything like that, that you take care of those things. And again, like I brought up a few times, utilize social media, because that is mobile, and that is where you want to have, a good presence out there. It'll help you with your recruitment efforts. I hope all of this was, I hope you took maybe one or two things away today that you didn't know. We really felt like this was a important subject to talk to our customers about. I think, every conversation I get into with a customer, recruitment and the troubles that all of companies are having with the current climate where job seekers are, demanding more. We have the Great Resignation, and now, we're all searching and looking for people, and people are jumping job seekers are out there jumping jobs, and, for more salaries. And so I'm hoping that this will make it a little bit easier for you and bring some more candidates in, and that you've learned something today. But our contact information is here for Jennifer and I if you have any questions. Anything there that you want to reach out to us. But Sam, have we gotten any questions that have come through on from any customers or anything out there?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. That was such great information. I definitely learned a lot myself, and we will get into questions right now. So let's see here. So we have one. How many templates can you have for offer letters? Can you have, and I believe you answered that, but it'd be good to kind of revisit
it's
that. Can you do
unlimited.
multiple offer letters?
Absolutely. Create as many as you want. It's nice to already have them there configured, right? They don't have to be used, but just having them there and available.
Thank you very much. Okay. And can you have multiple approved offer letters?
Yes, you can.
Great. So easy to answer. Does the PDF of the offer letter show up in the employee's electronic file?
Yes, ma'am, it does. It will carry over to the onboarding module with that candidate.
Okay. Will it have the signature
Ooh,
available
lots of
as
good
well?
questions on.
Offer letters, I like it.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Everybody
Yeah, lots
needs
of questions on offer letters.
going forward.
And then make a plug for Support Central. So Support Central is amazing, and we have a fabulous technical writer that gets good articles out there all the time. And I know there's some really great stuff on offer letters and how to use it the best way on Support Central.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
And test them out, right? Apply to your jobs. Send yourself an offer letter. Get a good feel for it, right?
I love with offer letters that you can send back to the hiring manager. You can have them CC'd on the accepted or declined message, because then everyone knows at once, can celebrate, and it's just easy communication across the board. So that's a great feature I really like about offer letters. Let's see.
That CC picture is very nice.
Yes. So this one's from the ATS. How does manager access work when posting jobs? How can you have your manager essentially see their job?
That typically
That's a great
is
question.
within
Go ahead, Jen. You can take it.
Right. Typically handled within permissions, right? Whether they have the ability to see all open career opportunities or just those in which they've been assigned to. So keep that in mind, right? You might have some users out there that don't have the same access that you do. So make sure that you understand that, because some individuals won't be able to see all of the candidates without the appropriate permission.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. And we have one that just came in. It says, is adding the location within the job posting title help, or is there another method to communicate to the applicant the area of the job that they will be applied to?
So on the job, I'll take it, Jen. So on the job posting is selected. The location is actually within the job. And so when it's sent to the job boards, that is something that is also sent. So that's why we say you don't need to put that in the actual job or in the job title, that you take that off of there, because it should already show up in the job posting, because it's something that we, from our Arcoro standpoint, are sending to those job boards. And so when it's searched, it'll say, what the area is or what the location of that position is.
Perfect. Let's see, we have just a couple more here. Let's see, what is the best social media site for recruiting? Any recommendations?
Oh, yes, that's a great one. So LinkedIn really changed the game for recruitment when they came on to the social media scene. It really is about networking and recruiting. It's more professional positions. So, your office positions, your developers, things like that. I know it's not as great for, your construction workers, your hard hat type jobs, blue collar jobs. For that, I would say that Facebook is a really great place to be able to recruit those. I've seen a few people do where they have a Facebook page for their company where they're working with customers and doing the advertising and marketing for that. But then they also have a Facebook page for their actual recruitment where they're giving, talking about what it is like to work for a company, which I always think is a good idea. And that's where you can post your jobs. And because I know sometimes there's pushback from, maybe marketing doesn't want HR posting all the jobs on where the customers are seeing. So it's, you can create different pages there. And then, there's Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. One of the things with Twitter is if you're going to use it, it can be a fantastic tool, but you need to make sure that you understand how it works and use your hashtags. Posting out a job and saying, you know, hashtag sales job is not going to get you a lot of, you know, exposure, because, you know, there's, you know, millions and millions and millions of people. So you need to bring it down to, you know, your location and, you know, maybe the industry that you're in, that type of stuff. So make sure that you build from there. But Facebook and LinkedIn definitely are good ones to, you know, if you're just jumping into it to get your feet wet, and then you can look at other ones.
Great. That's good information. I completely agree with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is awesome for job seekers nowadays, and the company. So let's see.
Yeah, for sure.
One that just came in too, where can you see where the candidate applied from, whether it was your website or Indeed or another avenue?
Your source analytics report, everyone. It's a really fabulous report. It's got some good graphics there. However, when you click on your candidate, when you're reviewing them from the job and you click on their little plus sign, right? When you click into their contact information, you're always going to see the apply source listed there for them specifically. But if you're looking for, you know, a higher view, the source analytics report is where I would go.
Okay, great.
And CCP stands for company career page. Everybody always asks on that one. When it comes over and it says CCP is your source there. That means it's coming from your company career page.
Let's see. We have one more for the ATS, and I think that might be the last question for today. How many labels can you assign to a certain candidate? Is it as many as you like? Can it get too overwhelming? So essentially, how many labels?
We're not going to limit you, but I could see if we got a little carried away and maybe had 10 to 12, they might not be as impactful, right? But yeah, you're not limited. You can add, and honestly, if you've got permission to the candidate pool space, you could even go in and detach a label, right? Maybe I applied to the CEO job and by no means am I qualified for that, right? So it's somebody with the right permissions could ultimately go in and remove that label if needed and add something different should they choose.
Thank you very much.
Do you think they understood that we really like the label functionality? Sorry, Sam.
Good. All right. So I think that is the last of some of our questions today. There are some other comments that we will get back to you after the program and see if there's anything that we can discuss from there. But thank you, everyone, for joining. We enjoyed our first HR hour, at least I did. I hope you did too. There will be another one in September, which is on best practices for performance reviews. So we hope to see you then. Thank you, Michelle and Jen.
Yep. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thank you.